Well, DreamWorks has done it. They released their first ever live-action remake, How to Train Your Dragon. Now, as much as I was against the idea of How to Train Your Dragon getting the live-action remake treatment, considering that we know the original movie stands alone as one of the best animated movies out there, and let me talk about the original movie before going into the live-action one. The first How to Train Your Dragon movie is what I define as what makes animation one of the best art forms of filmmaking. And that's really not an exaggeration. It's one of the best animated movies that I think I've ever seen in my life. And that's also not an exaggeration. From the engaging story, likable characters, some really beautiful sequences, it's paced really well, and the score. Oh my god, I can't tell you enough on how much I love the soundtrack in the original movie. It's definitely one of the best soundtracks that I think I've ever heard in any movie actually. I feel like I'm not praising this movie enough. I really love it. And if you haven't seen it, what are you doing? Give yourself the day off and watch this masterpiece of a movie. Now, I would end the review here with the original, but we still gotta talk about the live action one. Now, when they announced that we were getting a live action adaptation of How to Train Your Dragon, I was mostly skeptical, but also why? Like, we already know that these live action remakes mostly exist of just wanting to sell out more in their IPs, which was really no surprise that this remake was gonna do. And also the fact that Disney started this trend for a while, and now it sort of influenced other studios to try it out as well, which I don't like, because I feel like most of the time when a live action remake is released, it just feels like they want people to forget the original exists, and they just want to shove in some new content for the modern viewer. That's just how I feel every time when these live action remakes are released. But at the same time, I was sort of looking forward to this remake since I do really love the first movie, and also the fact that the same director of the original films was attached to this. It did give me some optimism that maybe this remake will capture what made the original film special. And now that the film is out, and that I've seen it, yeah, it definitely did that. It's mostly just a shot-for-shot remake of the original film with some significant changes, which sort of made my viewing experience for this remake feel kinda hollow as a result. Now, as much as I really did appreciate that this remake captured the spirit of the original film, and that everyone involved making this remake did care for what they were making, I still think that this remake had no reason to exist at all. As I was watching this remake, it didn't really have much to offer, other than the fact that it's just the animated movie again, but in live action. While this remake does have some changes, and surprisingly they didn't really infuriate me this time around, I actually didn't mind some of the stuff that they either added or expanded on what the story was telling. As a matter of fact, I feel like the changes that they did add, they didn't really overshadow for what they were recapturing for this remake. Plus, the effects don't look half bad. The designs of all of the dragons still look just as good as they were in the original films. Also, the score is still just as good as the original, and that's really all I'll say about it. It's pretty much the same music score and how each sequence is played out. But here's what I have to critique about it. I don't know if it's just me, or I literally have not heard anyone else talk about it, but to me, I think all of the dragons mixed with the live action humans don't really mix too well to me. Whenever some of the characters are next to these CGI dragons, it kinda stands out in a way that is not believable. That's just how I see it. The production design and the sets aren't really that bad in fact. It's pretty spot on actually. But I think some of it just feels cheap in a way. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just the lack of lighting throughout this movie that just made it feel like that. Maybe that's what it is. The actors in the movie give a passable enough job. I think they're not bad with their performances. I just think that they don't give the energy or the charisma that they're supposed to with these characters, and as a result, they just don't feel too enthusiastic with their performances, especially with Mason Thames as Hiccup. No disrespect to the actor, but he just doesn't fit with the character. Hiccup in the original was more as the weak, scared nerd type of guy from the voice performances, while in the remake, Hiccup just feels like a normal person and has the personality as the cool type of person. But at the same time, he tries to attempt to capture the same essence as the original character, which I didn't really take too seriously, but I think Gerard Butler being cast as Stoic again was something that I wasn't expecting for this remake. You can tell that he loves playing the character, and he's the only one that does capture the essence of the character in the original film, which I guess isn't really a surprise, but oh well. It's enough for me, I guess. But in fact, I think I can describe this remake as you're watching a play adaptation of the movie. That's literally how it feels. At least to me, I felt that way while watching it. But yeah, in conclusion, I did not hate it. I actually had a decent enough time watching it, but at the same time, I keep thinking to myself while I was watching this remake and how much I wanted to watch the original film again. But if you like the original and you were looking forward to this remake, watch it if you want to. I think it does enough that captures the original in its own merit, but at the end of the day, this remake does not need to exist, and you're just better off watching the original. It's just better in every way. So yeah, I'm giving the live action How to Train Your Dragon a 6.5 out of 10. So I'm ending this outro with a short Q&A because I'm going to attend VidCon Anaheim this week once again. And I did post it on my community post and on Instagram about doing a Q&A, and I've only gotten 2 questions from Instagram alone, and they were from friends, but you know what, it's something, and I want to answer them. The first question is, what inspired you to start a YouTube channel and specifically talk about movies? I've watched a lot of YouTube growing up, and I've always wanted to try making something on this platform. And my brother used to have a YouTube channel that he made for fun, and that gave me the inspiration on just starting my own YouTube channel. And ever since then, I've just been doing my own thing, making videos on this platform. But what makes me to start talking about movies specifically? Well, during this decade, I've watched a lot of movie critics on YouTube, and some of the ones that I've watched, they do it in a way that's really enjoyable and fun to watch, and I wanted to do that as well. The second question is, thoughts on starting a podcast? Well, I don't really listen to a lot of podcasts to begin with, so it wouldn't be ideal for me to start one, but I think it's pretty much depends on a specific topic that I might be interested in talking about. But at the same time, I'm not really the one for the most responses that you usually see people give when it comes to big conversations, so for me starting a podcast, it's not really on the table for me yet. I mean, we'll see. If you guys recommend it enough, maybe I can start one with like maybe some friends and maybe collaborate with some YouTubers in the future. Well, those are the questions, and let me know if you guys have seen the live action How to Train Your Dragon. Did you like it, or did you prefer the original? Let me know in the comments, subscribe, and I'll see you on whatever video I make next.